And look, the tach came on. We saw the tach was offline for a little bit, so we definitely have a problem right now with the interior bus. No bus. Boom. Hi everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow out of Diagnostics. 2012 Jeep Wrangler, 197,000 miles. Customer complaint is electrical ghost. That the wipers start going off on their own. The cluster lights up like a Christmas tree. You know, it's a Jeep thing, right? So right off the bat, they're like, hey, it's gotta be a bad TIPM, right? So they ordered a refurbished one online from Max TIPM. It was pre-calibrated to the vehicle. They plugged it in, drove it 100 feet, same exact thing happened. Interesting. So it might not be a TIPM problem. Here's our refurbished unit. They took it back out and put the original one back in. Okay. Scanned it for codes, obviously. And we have a whole bunch of communication codes. So PCM, lost comm with steering column module, can see. ABS, lost communication with steering angle sensor. Left rear wheel speed performance. BCM says lost comm with radio. Lost comm with cluster. Lost comm with HVAC. CAN interior bus. Okay, that kind of all makes sense. We'll look at the wiring diagram. Instrument cluster says interior bus lost comm with radio. HVAC says lost comm with instrument cluster and TIPM. Hands-free module says lost comm with TIPM, cluster, and radio. Can be bus. Okay, so oh, there go the wipers. Let's see. So the wipers work. We got all kinds of warning lights. And I noticed that, see, the HVAC works. I noticed the radio does not work. So the backlighting works, but no response from the radio. Okay, and that's interesting. So what I want to do here is let's clear all these codes out, because the car just acted up anyways, and we have them saved. So let's do key off, key on, clear DTCs. And when this thing acts up, we'll see exactly what comes back. Okay, so right now the only code stored is lost comm with steering angle sensor. Alright. Key off. So the stability track indicator's on because you can't see the steering angle sensor. TPMS light's blinking. Oh, there go the wipers. Now, I didn't turn on the wipers, I don't think. Okay, that works. Check engine light came on right away. Let's see what the check engine light's all about. Okay, engine oil pressure sensor circuit low. And lost communication with steering column module, can't see. Interesting. So what I want to do, right now the wipers, you can't shut them off. They're just going nuts. You see the, I don't know if the auto lights dimmed themselves. We'll just keep the lights on for now. So let's focus on the wipers. Why why are the wipers going nuts like this? We do another scan of all the modules. So back out. So you can't talk to the radio, the scanner can't. Does that have anything to do with our wiper problem? You see right now, I'm pulling the, oh. Look, the tach came on. You saw the tach was offline for a little bit, so we definitely have a problem right now with the interior bus. No bus. Boom. They're absolutely right. There is a Christmas tree. Okay. I should probably fold the wipers away so they don't scratch the windshield. Okay, so it came back. So I think whenever the wipers start going off, the tach drops down and we get more lights on the dash. So it's going to be an interior bus problem. So basically the same codes here. Can be bus. Need a wiring diagram of the network and see what the wipers, the wiring diagram for the wipers. So the Jeep seems to have quieted down. I mean, everything's working. No more communication faults. The wipers aren't going nuts. So it only happened when the truck was cold. I can't reproduce it anymore. So in this case, the only thing we know is that the radio does not work. And it's on this interior can, which is having all the issues. Looking at wiring diagrams, here's the can IHS. So it has the TIPM, it has the HVAC, cluster, intrusion transceiver, hands-free module, amplifier, and radio. Okay, now how do the wipers work? Well, there's this multifunction switch that talks on a LIN bus to the cluster, and the cluster talks to the TIPM, totally integrated power module, and then that commands everything. Wiper motor front, the washer. So if there's a problem on the interior can, on the can IHS, and let's say the cluster's offline, the TIPM is going to be like, you know, turn the wipers on, just in case. So it's going to be a problem on this interior bus network. So right now the Jeep is fine. I'm thinking let's go for the radio. Disable power to the radio. If we can't get it to act up, I'm going to tell the shop owner, you know, let it sit overnight. Turn it on again tomorrow, drive it around. If everything's perfect, we'll just leave the radio power feed, you know, the fuse out. I don't want to tear the dash apart just yet, but that's one thing that's suspicious. You know, why is the radio not online? If it's going nuts, it could mess up the network as well. So let's remove power to the radio. And which fuse is that? Here's the radio. Fuse M12 30 amp. I'm going to look at the power distribution diagrams and make sure that's the only component on this fuse, and we'll just pull it out. Alright, so fuse M12, I found it on the fuse box cover, M12 right there, and just verify M12 30 amp radio and amplifier. Right there. That's this one right here. It's definitely hot on both sides. Let's just pull it out. I'll just keep it right there so you know which one it is. Put this back on, clear out any codes, and take this thing for a test drive. Alright, so we pulled out this M12 30 amp fuse and the TIPM, and you want to make sure that that's the only thing this fuse feeds. So this is the power distribution diagram, and it feeds motor, DC to DC converter, radio, and radio amplifier. Now we don't have the stop-start system, so it's just radio and amplifier. Just want to make sure we're not disabling something important. Let's take this thing for a spin, and the only codes set right now is just lost comm with radio, lost comm with radio, steering angle sensor, engine oil pressure sensor, and steering column module, and the BCM lost comm with radio. Okay, that's fine. Just go for a test drive. Well, even though it looks like a Christmas tree, everything's fine. Interior bus is fine. Our wipers aren't going crazy. I can activate them just fine if I want to. The seatbelt dinger is very, very annoying, and you might ask, are you wearing a seatbelt? Well, yes, I actually put it on because it was so annoying, and it's still going on. It's not the passenger, it's not the driver. So this thing has a whole bunch of little annoying issues, but the main customer complaint was wipers going off like crazy and the cluster just dying, you know, the gauge is going bad. So, and you know, they didn't say anything about the radio. So I hope that cutting power to the radio will take care of the interior bus problem, but this annoying dinger, you know, the steering angle sensor, check engine light, tire pressure light, all that stuff, that's those are separate issues. So I'll take it back to the shop. We'll do I asked them what exactly, you know, do you want me to start addressing all these other issues, or are we good with just the you know, the cluster being restored and the wipers? So I guess if there's a follow-up, we'll be back. They'll have to take it on at least one more test drive. I want to verify that cutting power to the radio actually restored the interior bus. So no scopes required yet, just scan tool, you know, data and symptoms. But with intermittent problems, sometimes that's the only way to move forward. Disable one thing, give it some time, test drive it again, see if the problem is fixed or not. So we'll be back. All right, the seatbelt dinger, I think I figured out. If you push this all the way in, it's intermittent. Like, it's off, and I wiggle it, and it's on. So that's just the worn latch. Diagnose that annoying problem. Otherwise, the car should be drivable without the dinger, without the radio. Yeah, we'll do a follow-up next day. See if the interior bus stays, you know, doesn't get messed up with the radio disabled. So just a quick follow-up on the Jeep Wrangler with the crazy cluster and wiper problem, the no bus. So it was actually the shop owner's personal vehicle, and the next day he said he started up, it drove perfectly fine, no issues. So leaving the radio power supply out, you know, that fuse, proved that the radio was at fault. It wasn't working, and it was actually messing up the interior network, the signals, and causing all the stuff to you know, act up. Didn't need a scope for this one. I wish I would have caught it while it was still cool. Once it warmed up, I guess the radio got a little warmer, it stopped interrupting the network. So didn't catch that on the scope. So basically the owner drove it around with the fuse pulled until he got an aftermarket stereo, installed that, and now his Jeep is back and it has music. So appreciate everyone watching. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.